June 1st, 2021 special meeting of the Walnut Creek City Council. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Brown Act as currently in effect under the State Emergency Services Act, the Governor's Emergency Declaration related to COVID-19, and the Governor's Executive Order N2920 issued on March 17th, 2020 that allows attendance by members of the City Council, city staff, and the public to participate and conduct the meeting by video conference. Video conference locations are not open to the public. To provide a live remote public comment, join the Zoom video conference meeting. The meeting ID is 994-8202-0751. And the passcode is 657654. When I open the public comment period, please use the raised hand feature or press *9 if you're connected by audio only, which will alert staff that you have a public comment you would like to provide. We ask that everyone who wishes to speak on an item, please use the raised hand feature to state your intent to speak when the item is called. Please wait your turn, and once brought into the meeting, state your name and city of residence for the record. As the council is conducting these meetings via video conference, and given the COVID-19 pandemic and the increased number of speakers that have wanted to make comments on various issues during our meetings and consistent with city policies related to public comments, each speaker will have 2 minutes to make your remarks. The council will accept oral comments. Written comments submitted have been and will be posted to the city's website for public review and are included in the meeting record, but will not separately be read into the record. Under California law, public comments at special meetings are limited to subjects on the agenda only. Does any member of the public wish to comment on the agenda item, interview commission, applicants, and action on appointments? Please use the raised hand feature or press *9 if you're connected by audio only. And at this time, I will ask the city clerk if we do have anybody that is raising their hand.
Mayor, I don't see any hands raised for public comment.
Okay. Seeing no speakers, the city council will now resume. All right, so this is regarding the interview for applicants. I still don't see Mayor Pro Tem Francois on, and we will.
I'm here now, Mayor. I'm sorry.
There you are. I see you now. Hi, Matt. All right. So I think we'll be bringing in the participants as we have those portions of the interview. So first, we're going to be having the Pros Commission, and then we'll be having the Commission on Aging. And does everybody have the questions that Susie had sent to us via email?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, but typically we discuss which questions we're going to use before the participants are in the room, and they're in the room.
That's a good point. They are in the room.
So, sorry.
No, that's a good point. They are in the room with us. So let's do this then.
Maybe they would be polite and log off for 4 minutes.
Well, I don't know if we're going to. People are probably still going to be coming in and out. I think that the way we can do this is if we all have the questions, then let's just run these down where on the Pros Commission, I'll ask the first question. Mayor Pro Tem Francois asks the second. Councilmember Silva will ask the third. Councilmember Haskey will ask the fourth. And Councilmember Darling will ask the fifth. And then I will ask the sixth question. And on the Commission for Aging.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
I think questions 3 and 4 are actually very, very similar. I'm happy to combine them so we don't end up getting the same answers, because people will not realize that there are 2 questions that are very similar.
That's fine. Why don't we do that? All right, then. All right, quick shift on this. Councilmember Haskey will ask 5 and Councilmember Darling will ask 6. On the Commission of Aging, I'll ask question 1. Mayor Pro Tem Francois asks question 2, and Councilmember Silva asks question 3. And if that works, why don't we bring in the Pros Commission?
Okay. Mayor, we do have the timer set for 90 seconds response time.
Terrific, thank you. Will that be able to be shown?
We're getting it up now.
Okay. Okay. So when we ask the questions of the prospective commissioners, we'll, just to make it completely fair, we'll start with one time and the next person that went second on the first question will then go first on the next question, and we'll just keep going around like that. So welcome Ian McLaughlin, Fran Garland, Chris Hunter. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for applying for the Pros Commission. Appreciate you being here. So as you're aware, you made it obviously through the first round of our overall discussion, and we now have several questions that we'll be asking of you. We'll go in order of that on the council. And the first question I will start with, and then we'll move to the next council members to ask you. So Ian, I'll have you start on this one. Now, are you aware of any issues on the Pros Commission that have recently been addressed? And have you attended any commission meetings recently? And any council meetings?
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members and city staff. Thank you very much for inviting me in for this application process. In answer to your question, Mayor Wilk, no, I have not been to any council meetings recently. And I've followed the Pros Commission occurrences as closely as I've been able to, given the fact that for the past 5 years, I've been recovering from a series of debilitating strokes that have taken almost all of my resources. I've not had the time that I used to have. And I'm coming out of that now and making good progress, which is why I applied for a reinstatement on the Pros Commission. And I've started doing some legal consulting work as well, which has been fantastic. But I'm digressing. In preparation for today's interview, I have gone back through the agendas and minutes of the recent meetings. And what I'm most excited about is the Your Parks, Your Future project, which I think has great potential. And I think is a wonderful example of a collaborative process with community engagement to keep offering the same fantastic level of service that Walnut Creek has been offering to its residents.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. I should quickly mention, if you didn't hear before, there's a 90-second time limit for each of the responses that the council will be asking. So you were right up there, Ian. Perfect timing. Thank you. Fran, same question to you.
Hi, Mayor Wilk and council members. I also have not been to any meetings recently, except for the last one where you were reviewing the applications. I do follow the Pros Commission just by reading the minutes, and I'll look ahead at some of their the work that they've done. And particularly, I was interested in the trail program that they've recently been engaged in, and that had a lot of public input, of course, as well. And then, as you saw in my application, this was a long time ago, but I was part of the visioning task force, which was really an excellent process, and I felt we really made a good effort to reach out to a lot of different, diverse groups within the city who use the open space and basically who are passionate about and care about the open space. And I do know that the parks, there is a current program as well with some of the park issues and things like that. So, no, I haven't actually been really active yet. But again, I recently retired, and my son has moved out. So I have a lot of time now. I'm really looking forward to having something like this commission to bring my energy to.
Great. Thank you, Fran. And Chris, are you aware of any Pros issues Pros Commission issues that have come up recently? And have you been into any council and commission meetings recently? I know that I saw you a lot prior to the pandemic. You're on mute. Chris, you're on mute. Still on mute.
There we
There you
go.
go. There you go.
Sorry. Yes, I've been in front of the pros often to talk about our pickleball club, which is the one thing that I have had a voice for many years. Lately, what I've done is look at some of the pros commission meetings online, and I kind of look for anything that might apply to our pickleball group to help fund maybe some new courts at Red Gear. And I keep track of I've looked at the budget, and I print out some of it so that I can read it, take a little more time with it. So that's basically what I've done lately. It's just the more recent meetings.
Okay, thanks, Chris. All right, next we'll move to Mayor Pro Tem Francois.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for applying and your interest in the city and your commitment and dedication. It's very heartwarming and appreciated. Fran, why don't we start with you? The second question is, what, in your opinion, are one or two of the major parks, recreation, and open space issues currently impacting the city?
Okay, sure. I do feel I have two things to share. One is I think that the city needs to be looking forward as we're changing demographically. There's a lot more intense development in downtown, more apartments or condominium type developments. And, that is changing our demographics. And I think looking forward, we really have to consider programs that we develop to we have to understand those needs as we're changing and aging probably as well as a community, and we need to understand those needs, and we need to be planning forward for that. And then the second issue, of course, is always money, and Parks and Rec is an integral part to the city's character, I believe, and the open space really kind of sets us apart, having all that open space, but it also comes at a cost, both maintenance, being able to develop and move forward, and and I don't know, being able to meet the demand, but also really preserve what we have and continually improve to really meet the needs of the entire city.
Terrific and very well timed. Thank you.
Oh.
Chris, the same question. What in your opinion are one or two of the major parks, recreation, and open space issues facing the city?
I think with COVID, I think we saw at our parks just many more people coming. I know with our pickleball group, we have just 50% of the people that are at the courts now. We don't even know the families are coming. We're having a lot more people use our parks. So I think that will be an issue, and you have to figure out how to manage more people coming to all of the parks. Our open space has been used a lot. The hiking, they hike through my neighborhood up to the trails up Mount Diablo all the time. And I love what Walnut Creek has recreation wise. I think they can offer a lot, and I think they need to offer more for young adults and retirees. Truthfully, I think it's always a balancing between the kids, what the kids need recreation wise, but I also think that there's a lot more retirees coming into Walnut Creek and young adults that live here. And I think that will be the issue. It's like, how do we manage the parks for each of these user groups?
That's helpful. Thank you. And Ian, what in your opinion are one or two of the major parks, recreation, and open space issues currently impacting the city?
Well, thank you very much for the question. And going third, I will try not to repeat what the previous speakers have said. But I do share a lot of their same sentiments. I think that was very well stated. And the city of Walnut Creek does an excellent job, I think, of managing its parks, facilities, and recreational programming. But there are a lot of competing interests involved. And I think that one of the biggest challenges going forward is maintaining that same level of service while taking into account the competing interests, whether it's pickleball and tennis or various sports leagues for the fields. So that's a general answer. And a more specific answer that I gleaned from looking through the Your Parks, Your Future documents, is that the Clark Pool issue is still ongoing, and that's a specific issue that I think was tricky back when I was serving on the Pros Commission, and seems to remain an issue that needs to be addressed. And it's not going to be an easy one. I think that's my answer right there.
All right, we'll move on to Councilmember Silva.
Well, as you heard in the interim, I'm going to try to combine questions 3 and 4 and make them so that you haven't already answered them inadvertently. So I think all of you in some way, shape, or form in the last 2 answers mentioned that we have a changing population in Walnut Creek. We're becoming more urban, which implies more young adults. We are also at the same time aging, and we have an aging population, and those that's kind of a push-pull going on. So when you think about from your experience and maybe your research in the field, what programs and activities do you think we should be adding or modifying or removing in order to meet the changing needs of our population? And I will start with Chris.
I think, like with my sport that I have represented, I'd say we have everybody coming to play pickleball. We have all ages. So I think adding more courts, of course, to Walnut Creek would be a wonderful idea. Going over to Tice Gym a lot. We use the gym a lot in the winters and even over the summers. And I think they need more programming hours, like every day of the week for recreational activities at Tice Gym. I think that's really been a missed opportunity for many years. I've tried to get lessons for pickleball over there. They have a lot of things for moms and tots in the mornings. In some of the other rooms, they have a great gal over there that used to teach aerobics, who taught there for 20 years, and she was packed and half of the class stood outside because it was so busy. So, but I think the gymnasium over there could be managed differently. And I think the gal that the programmer over there, Hope, it does a fabulous job, and she's very inventive and she's very open to suggestions for things over there. I can't think of, I guess that's it.
Thank you, Chris. And we'll reset the timer, but Ian, you'll be next. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
All right. You all mentioned that Walnut Creek is changing. We're becoming more urban, and at the same time we're aging, and we have an aging population. So you have a dichotomy of young adults and seniors. What programs and activities do you think Walnut Creek should be adding, taking away, or changing in order to meet the changing demographics of the community?
Well, thank you for the question, Councilmember Silva, and thank you for combining them. And I can't really provide a specific answer in terms of specific programs that I think should be added or eliminated. But I don't think that, given the changing demographics, that the types of programming and facilities that are needed are exclusive necessarily. I think there's room to accommodate programming and facilities for younger urban folks and an aging population. And given my current circumstance, I will add also for people of limited physical ability. I think that we can accommodate all of those uses, given the fact that Walnut Creek is a city with a proactive leadership team, a competent city staff, an engaged citizenry, and by and large resources to do a lot of the things that are in the vision.
Okay, thank you very much. And Fran, you'll be the last one, but if you can see the time, they've reset the timer. Do you need me to repeat the question or?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Great, thank you, Fran.
So a couple of ideas I have. One of the things that has struck me, of course, is the densifying of the downtown area. And I also realize that other than Civic Park, there maybe aren't a lot of other resources down there. So when I think about how important it was to have local parks and the schools and everything really close by, I think we need to really inventory and make sure that there are ample outdoor spaces, particularly for children, in some of these more densely populated areas. And then I also think that the fact that we do have an aging population, on one hand, it might be an opportunity to actually, sort of do some cross-generational things. And I'm not, I haven't really thought this through where I would be able to have a proposal or anything, but I feel like that we could look at this as an opportunity really to have, for example, maybe some of the more senior people being able to help in some of the children's activities or that type of thing, and or with people with special needs, that type of program. So I kind of like this as an opportunity to, maybe get some cross-generational or just, varying abilities of people together and doing programs that, help understanding, I guess, develop and, could be beneficial to everyone.
Okay. Thank you very much. Luella, your turn.
Well, we can't hear you. Oh, there you go. You're coming through now.
Okay.
Yep, very faintly.
Okay, I'll turn it up, I think. So here's my question, if I can ever get it out. The city is recognized for its open spaces. Should these be managed for its value as wildlife and native habitat, or for their value for recreational settings for the citizens? As we all know, COVID has changed and increased its usage substantially. Do we expect that's going to continue? And what is your opinion about how they should be used?
Well, you're coming across really faintly, but let's first ask if they were you able to hear the question?
Could it be repeated?
Yeah,
I'm not quite
I
sure
didn't
what-
hear it either.
Want to try it again?
Mayor, maybe you could do it for her because we have the same sets of questions.
Luella, we'll try Luella, you're still on mute, but try one more time, and if not, then I'll just ask the question.
Okay, with COVID,
Miles better.
we've gotten a lot more usage in our open spaces. Should these be managed more for their value for the habitat and the natural wildlife, or for their value for recreational uses?
So the
And
question's
why?
regarding the open space for those that had a little bit of trouble hearing.
Yeah, and why? And I think it's Ian's chance to talk again.
Well, thank you, Councilmember Haskew, and I believe I have the question. And I have the floor first, so a blank slate. And in terms of the open space, protecting the natural habitat and the wildlife therein, or allowing for more different uses, again, I don't think that it's an exclusive set of propositions. I think that there's room to do both. It's just a matter of how to accomplish that. And the Walnut Creek Open Space Foundation is excellent at doing the former, and I think that the city council and the city has a large role to play in the latter, and the two can go hand in hand.
Thank you. Fran, I think you're next.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that the open space should be managed for open space recreation, right? It's not one or the other, but because we are trying to protect wildlife corridors, habitat, unique plants, endangered species, that type of thing, we have to manage with that in mind, which means we need to have some kinds of restrictions on use, guidance, that type of thing. So, and this does create some conflicts. Bicyclists go off trail, that type of thing. And I think, the city staff, the ranger staff, and are very good. And I think, as they obviously they need to, be able to be out in the field managing, those kinds of uses. But I think most people actually really enjoy and care about the open space. And I spend most of my time in Lime Ridge open space, and I do see people doing things they're not supposed to, but they are still the exception. So I'd like to say that we can always do better, but managing them for both purposes is important.
Chris?
I think that the open space is wonderful, and I think it was really needed during COVID. That was what I used for months until I could get back to some of the uses I could do in the park. I think the horses and hikers can use the same trails in open space. I think bikers kind of need their own set areas because I think they're much more destructive to the open space. I don't know about how to manage that at all, but I think there kind of need to be set areas for the bikers. I think Public Works has done a great job managing the cattle by fencing them in on Mount Diablo in certain areas to allow them to feed and keep the grass down in certain areas around the hiking trails. I mean, I think Walnut Creek has gone to extensive means to keep the hiking trails open to the public and still allow for the cattle grazing to keep the weeds and everything down. And it also, I think, improves some of the flowers up there too. But I think it's important to protect both. Definitely, we love the wildlife, I think, in Walnut Creek because we live with it, because we're at the base of Mount Diablo, and it's a mountain, and it's a great recreation area, but it's also a great wildlife area.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Darling.
Okay, so this question will start with Fran. And the recreational facilities of the city are in varying conditions depending on their age and amount of use, and some of them are in need of replacement. For facilities like the pools and the sports fields, what percentage of the cost of replacement, if any, should be borne by the user groups?
Wow.
Simple question, real easy.
I think I don't really know. I mean, I actually can't give you a percent. I can say that the user groups do need to help contribute. And I think there could potentially be other sources of money as well, depending on the nature of the facilities. But, you might be able to get community input that's not necessarily a user group, but other types of community. I don't know, we have O.com Park, for example, in Oakland. So, you know what I mean? It's like, there may be we may have to think out of the box a little bit, because I do think that people can only afford so much, really, when it comes to facilities. But I do think if you have user groups involved in fundraising, I think that is actually, really good. And I think that's proven a lot. The schools do it. They built, the schools are able to get together, raise money, build a big pool complex or something like that. So I think we can borrow from some of those kinds of tactics, I guess, in terms of trying to, bring that together. But I can't really tell you a percentage. I'm not really sure. Not exactly my, I've never really thought about it from that perspective.
All right, thanks, Fran. So Chris, to you, the recreational facilities are in varying conditions and depending on their age and amount of use. Some are in need of replacement. And for facilities like the pools and the all-weather sports fields, what percentage of cost of replacement, if any, should be borne by the user groups?
I can tell you, just with our pickleball group, we helped pay for half of the first courts, pickleball courts put in Red Deer Park, and then we paid for all of the second 4. People are willing to pay for something that they really want. And I think you can ask, and I've had other people that have businesses come to me and say, Chris, if you decide to try and do something bigger here, I'm more than willing to help. I think you can ask the constituents. Now with Clark's Swim Center, I think that's a different deal. I remember Tom Worthy told me years ago how the budget worked, and he explained about Clark being a problem years ago because of the amount of money it takes to run the facility every year. And I'm not sure that that would work there. So I don't know. I think you would have to go to businesses and try and get them to contribute, Walnut Creek businesses. I would be more than willing to go ask them for it too, if they, if they support it. It's a great facility. My son used that swim center for many years. And I thought it was a great facility and well run. I can't tell you percentages either, but I know people are willing to pay for something they really want to use.
Thanks. So Ian, the recreational facilities of the city are in varying conditions, depending on age and use. Some are in need of replacement. desperate need of replacement. For things like the pools and the sports field, what percentage of cost of replacement should be borne by the user groups?
Well, thank you for the question, Councilmember Darlene. And I also am not able to give an exact percentage, but I will say that I am in favor of the user groups paying a significant amount of the cost, or at least a fair share of the cost of renovation or replacement. And I say that as a person who used to play a lot of tennis, league tennis at Heather Farm. And I was, again, happy to pay my share if asked for the facilities there, which were great. And also both of my boys play youth sports in Walnut Creek. And I would be happy to pay for revamped facilities for their youth sports. So on the user end, I'm willing to go that extra bit, and I'm willing to ask the user groups to pay a significant portion of the cost. And I think Chris Hunter's response earlier is correct. Those who want to use the facilities would probably be willing, if they are able, to pay a portion of the cost.
Thanks.
All right. So now we're just going to give you a softball question here. You're going to have 30 seconds and we'll just go right down the line. Why should we pick you? Pure and simple. Why should we pick you? And Fran, let's start with you on this.
Okay. I think you should pick me because I have a lot of experience, sort of, technically, educationally, professionally in open space management and in recreation associated with open space. And I would bring that to the committee. I'm also very experienced in public processes, and I would be very, knowledgeable and be able to bring, again, that experience into, tapping into our public, our communities, and bringing their input into the Pros Commission's decisions.
Thank you, Fran. Chris, why should we pick you?
I like working with people. I enjoy public service. I grew up in a family of public servants. I don't have as much experience as some of our members here have that are applying for this, but I think I would, I use all the facilities in Walnut Creek. I use a lot of the recreational facilities in Walnut Creek and been dealing with it and know some of the infrastructure issues. And that's why I would like to work and do something for my city.
Thank you, Chris. And Ian, your turn. Why should we pick you?
I think you should pick me because I bring a variety of eclectic perspectives to the position. Not only did I spend the majority of my legal career doing public policy work, I also have served on the Pros Commission before, and I'm aware of the processes of the Pros Commission. And now I bring a different perspective that I recently gained as somebody with a physical disability that I think would add a new outlook to my work on Pros.
All right, thank you. Well, I want to thank all of you for applying again. And obviously we can only choose one of you, and you all have terrific qualifications. So if you aren't chosen, we please would like you to stay involved, and there are always task forces commissions. So again, thank you very much. And we're going to be voting on this right after our next panel, which is the Commission on Aging. So thank you. All right, it looks like we have our three applicants here. Thank you very much for joining us, Eric, Sue, and Dale. So of course, as you know, this is the Commission on Aging, and we really appreciate your applying for this position. What we're going to do here is be asking you each 3 questions and then a softball of a 4th question, but we'll go in order of the council, and then we'll have Eric, we'll have you start on the first question, Sue, you'll be second, and Dale third. And then the second question, Sue, you'll be first. And so I'll ask the first question and just make sure that everybody can hear me okay on this. Okay. All right. So, and then please, of course, unmute yourself when it's your turn. So the first question, Eric, what experience do you bring in this area?
Right. Well, thank you for the question, and thank you for selecting me to interview for this. It's very nice to meet you all. So my experience in this area, I'm a practicing neuropsychologist in Walnut Creek, and I've had a private practice here in town going on 13 years now, and been in practice for 16 years. And the majority of my work has been with older adults, primarily individuals and seniors who are experiencing cognitive decline or concerns for dementia or other types of neurological conditions that might affect their brain functioning. And in addition, I also do a fair amount of work for the probate courts, providing capacity evaluations and other expert testimony for the courts when there's concerns about lack of capacity or potential financial or other types of elder abuse that may occur. And really my first opportunity to kind of give back to the community and give back to seniors was when I served on the Meals on Wheels board for 6 years and provided guidance and support to that organization. That was kind of mid-2000s.
Great. Thanks, Eric. Hi, Sue, you're next. You're on mute. Sue, you're on mute.
I
Oh, there
got
you go.
it. Sorry. Thank you. I am not sure that I have any other great reasons for you to select me, except I'm old and I'm willing to serve. So I don't know a lot about what is entailed with it, but I think that's very good because I don't have any designs on anything. I'm just very interested in being sure that our seniors get what they want. Right now, I have a big project on trying to get within our Rossmore community, and I've just gone off of the Rossmore Board of Directors, which I have met a number of you. And Tim O'Keefe suggested that I submit my name for this, which was, I thought, very complimentary. I'm not too sure that I can get anything nearly as qualified as Eric, except I say I'm willing to do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. And Dale, what experience do you bring?
Thank you. Most of my experience with elderly is with housing, low-cost housing, subsidized housing, starting in 1982, and continued being an administrator and an executive director in that from 1982 to 2001. And then in 2001, when I retired as the executive director in San Jose, the board of directors invited me to be a member of the board. So I served on that board and was president for 2 years. I was also a member of the Benicia Housing Authority. Prior to Patty and me moving to Rossmore, we lived in Benicia, and I was appointed to the Housing Authority Board by the City Council, and I served in that capacity for 11 years. I have been sensitive to the needs of elderly, and in terms of financial needs, but also in terms of physical needs, since many of the people had physical challenges.
Thank you, Dale. Move on to Mayor Pro Tem Francois.
Great. Thank you all for applying. Some of this may duplicate what you said already, and I apologize for that. But Sue, why don't we start with you? Why do you want to be a representative on the Council of Aging?
If you really want to know the truth, I'm curious. I want to know what this is all about. I want to know what you're going to do, and I want to be a part of it. I'm not, like I said, I don't have any designs on what's going to happen or what we're going to do. I'm going to just flow with it. And I'm a person, as most people who spend any time with me on boards, I give very few words, and I will come straight to the point. And I don't want to hear when somebody asks me what time it is, I'll give them the time and I will not build the watch. So that is just, I'm very curious about what it's going to do. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dale, the same question. Why do you want to be a representative on the Council on Aging?
Well, as I told you, my background goes back to 1982 in being involved with aged people, and I've always been sensitive to their needs. When I was an executive director in San Jose, I made modifications to the 150 unit complex that we had in helping seniors be able to navigate, especially physically, in assistive devices, wheelchairs, and so forth. So, and I have a deep sympathy for and compassion for people who have needs. I'm currently on the board of directors in Rossmore. I served with Sue, and so I have interest in elderly here, but most of the elderly here are not the ones that I think I would be helping to provide assistance or service to in the greater area of Walnut Creek and certainly Contra Costa County.
That's great. Thank you, Dale. And Eric, same question for you. Why do you want to be a representative on the Council on Aging?
Yeah, I think simply stated, it's just my desire to give back to the community. That was something that was instilled in me at a very young age with my parents. And we've been living in Walnut Creek now since 2008. And, basically for the entire time that I've been here, I've always tried to carve out some aspect of my life of giving back. So whether it was serving on the Meals on Wheels board, and that was a 6-year commitment. I've served on our local soccer club's recreation board, including as a director for the last 2 years of the recreation program. I serve on the Walnut Creek Police Chief Advisory Board currently. And so specifically with the ACOA, I just feel it's a good opportunity to leverage my skill sets and knowledge to provide for this community. I spent a lot of money cramming information into this brain, and I feel it's almost like greedy of me just to keep it all to myself and have my own little practice over here and not do anything to give back to the city and to the county.
Great, thank you.
Councilmember Silva, your question. You're on mute.
Thank you very much, and thank you for applying for this council appointment. I'm sure you have found it interesting to read what the advisory council works on, and they're a diverse group representing all of the cities in the county, and they are also working in a variety of areas. If you had to pick one of the 6 or 7 areas that they work in, which do you think is currently the most important that the council should be working on? And conversely, which area do you think you are most experienced and be able to work best and offer the greatest level of experience for? And we'll go first to Dale.
Whoops. Thank you. I'm most experienced, obviously, in housing, and especially low-cost housing. I also served on the California Association of Homes and Services for the Aging board, and was involved in that organization. Also, I've worked closely with the federal government, and with local governments as well. I think that an area, in addition to housing, that is really, I'm really sensitive to, is nutrition, and helping people to be able to, excuse me, I knew of a case where someone ate dog food because they couldn't afford anything else. I'm sorry. I just want to be sensitive and helpful in any way that I can, so that people can have a quality of life.
Thank you. Eric, question to you. Hopefully you don't need me to repeat it, but I will.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Thank you. Well, I think I'm going to kind of hedge on your question a little bit, because it seems like almost having to make a Sophie's choice about picking, which group is the most important. But I think, Dale, he mentioned what he was most sensitive to, and definitely housing is an important one. And I would say what I see clinically was the nutrition aspect to that. I think is a very important part. Transportation is a key need in this area. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be the health subcommittee, especially coming out of COVID. I think the need and urgency to address some of the underlying health needs of seniors in this community is going to be a very significant and pressing matter. I think it really amplified the level of isolation that's apparent with the seniors in this community. And I can really see us, as we're coming out of COVID, having more and more opportunities to engage, face to face. We're going to start finding that a lot of health needs over the past year were neglected, and that's going to put a lot of stress on our services.
Thank you, Eric. Sue.
I'm not too sure that I'm sort of like Eric. I'm hedge on the thing, because I'm not too sure that I have any particular great expertise on any of them. I just know a little bit about all of it. Of course, I know a lot about housing. For those of you who know, I've been working in real estate here in this area for 30 some odd years. And but I think I'd kind of like to observe and see what they're doing and see where I could be of help. I don't think I have a particularly good expertise. I think every single one of them is good. Nutrition, health, housing, transportation, every bit of it is important to all of us. Since I are one, I'm what you call a super senior. So I think I don't really have a great expertise in anything. I just know a little bit about a lot of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor, back to you.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. Just a quick 30 seconds now. The softball question. Why should we pick you? And I'm going to start back with Eric. Just quickly give us your best little 30-second bio on it.
Right. Well, I mean, I think going back to the question that Councilperson Francois asked, as far as, based on our experience and what we bring to the position, I just think it's a good opportunity to kind of leverage my education and clinical expertise. And I would say the added benefit is, I have two boys. One's on their way to Las Lomas and the other's at WCI. And so they're older now, I guess, is my point. So I have a little bit more time. And I termed out of my recreation program director with the soccer club. So I have more time would be my main point on that. So that would be my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue?
I begin a person of very few words. I'll say it again. I'm old and I'm willing to serve. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Dale?
Yeah, because I'm retired, I have time to be able to devote however much would be needed. I am committed to people, and I am compassionate.
Thank you. Well, thank all of you very much for applying for this, and we really appreciate that. Thank you for your involvement in the city and, of course, in Rossmore. And Sue and Dale, I've gotten the chance to see you on the Golden Rain Foundation board. And Erica, you're working on the Police Chief Advisory Board. So we're going to dismiss you as panelists now. Appreciate that again. And then what we're going to do on the council is everybody stack 1, 2, 3 choices for pros and 1, 2, 3 choices for the Commission on Aging and send them to Susie. So text them or email them to Susie. She will compile them, and then we will be able to have a motion on that. So, so let's have Eric, Sue, and Dale take them off the panelists, and then we'll take a 5-minute break. I don't think it'll take much longer than that. And we'll send this to Susie, and then we'll hear back from Susie.
tabulated the results.
Okay,
Let's see, for the pros commission, we have Fran Garland with 8 points, Chris Hunter 9, and Ian McLaughlin 13. For the advisory council on aging, Sue Adams 12, Eric Freitag 9, and Dale Harrington 9. So we are looking to fill one vacancy on each commission or board, but we can also appoint to the eligibility list. The pros commission eligibility list would only be good through February of next year, as we will be recruiting again for an additional pros commissioner.
okay, and so to reiterate, we have Fran was the top vote getter then for the pros commission, and Sue was the top vote getter for the aging commission.
Correct.
Can you repeat the points?
The total? Yeah.
Right.
Fran 8, Chris 9, Ian McLaughlin 13, Sue Adams 12, and Eric Freitag and Dale Harrington 9.
And could you explain, since we ranked them, did our third candidate get 1 point, our second candidate get 2, and our first candidate get 3?
The first candidate was your number one choice?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the person with the least amount of points was number 1.
Wait. I'm sorry. That you just I thought I had you until the end there, Susie.
Oh.
So the first ranked had 3 points, the second rank had 2 points, and the third rank had 1 point.
Reverse. I took number 1 as being, your number 1 is 1 point.
So I sent to you, I sent it like, here was the first, second, third. Did others send that way as well?
That's how I did it as well.
First, second, third. So the person with the least amount of points.
Is the choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that means we have a tie for the Council on Aging.
Yes. Because Sue Adams was 12, the other 2 were 9.
Okay, all right. So
So we have to vote again.
all right, so now we should do a vote between those two for aging, just between Eric and Dale. Is that correct?
Eric and Dale, yes.
Okay, understood now. So let's just do this just to make sure that we are crystal clear on this. Just send your number 1 pick to Susie now.
Sorry, I'm checking email and text. So we have, sorry, 1, 2, 3 for Eric and 2 for Dale.
Okay, so Eric has the most votes for the Commission on Aging. And again, who received the most votes, however this was tabulated, as who the council chose for pros? The highest ranking.
Fran Garland with 8.
Okay, all right. So we need a motion to be able to make an appointment and also to have an eligibility list.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to appoint Fran Garland to the Pros Commission with Chris Hunter to the alternate position.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Susie, can you take the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Francois,
Aye.
Councilmember Silva.
Aye.
Councilmember Darling,
Aye.
Councilmember Haskew,
Aye.
Mayor Wilk.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right. Thank you to the applicants. Thank you to council.
I'll make-
And,
Do we need
Mayor,
a-
I'll make one more motion on the Advisory Council on Aging.
oh,
I'd move to appoint Eric Freitag as the city's representative with Dale Harrington as an alternate.
I'll second
A
that.
vacancy position.
I'll second that.
Do we need to do a first and alternate, or can we say that all of the people that were applicants could represent us? And just say all three are, one is the appointee and the two remaining people are on the availability list?
If you number them, then we would be able to make an appointment if a vacancy were to occur. If they're not numbered, then we would re-interview both on the list.
Does that work for you, Luella? Then I would move to appoint Eric Freitag as the representative with Dale Harrington as the first person on the vacancy list and Sue Adams as the second person on the vacancy list.
I'll
Second, I got it in first.
I got it first.
Mayor Pro Tem Francois,
Aye.
Councilmember Haskew,
Aye.
Councilmember Darling,
Aye.
Councilmember Silva,
Aye.
and Mayor Wilk.
aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right. So again, thank you to all the applicants for all the commissions, and we will be seeing you. We'll be seeing you soon. And nobody leave right now, at least on the panel, because while this special meeting is adjourned, we're now going to have a closed session meeting that's going to be starting. And so I don't think this is going to go on that long, though. For those who have joined in on this portion, I would like to welcome to the Tuesday, June 1st, 2021 special meeting closed session of the Walnut Creek City Council. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Brown Act as currently in effect under the State Emergency Services Act, the Governor's Emergency Declaration related to COVID-19, and the Governor's Executive Order N-2920 issued on March 17th, 2020 that allows attendance by members of the City Council, city staff, and the public to participate and conduct the meeting by video conference. Video conference locations are not open to the public. To provide a live remote public comment, join the Zoom video conference meeting. The meeting ID and password are 994-8202-0751. The passcode is 657654. When I open the public comment period, use the raised hand feature or press *9 if you're connected by audio only, which will alert staff that you have a public comment you would like to provide. We ask that everyone who wishes to speak on an item, please use the raised hand feature to state your intent to speak when the item is called. Please wait your turn, and once brought into the meeting, state your name and city of residence for the record. As the council is conducting these meetings via video conference, and given the COVID-19 pandemic and increased number of speakers that have wanted to make comments on various issues during our meetings and consistent with city policies related to public comments, each speaker will have 2 minutes to make your remarks. The council will accept oral comments. Written comments submitted have been and will be posted to the city's website for public review and are included in the meeting record, but will not separately be read into the record. Under California law, public comments at special meetings are limited to subjects on the agenda item only. Does any member of the public wish to comment on the closed session items? Please use the raised hand feature or press *9 if you'd like to provide a public comment. As a reminder, each speaker will have 2 minutes to make the remarks. At this time, I'll ask the city clerk if there are any members of the public who would like to provide comments.
Mayor, we don't have any hands raised for public comment on the closed session item.
Okay, thank you. So seeing no speakers, the city council will now reconvene in closed session.